G'day, everyone. So we're back with Trader Ferg after a few weeks. It's really good to have a chat, mate. Been looking forward to it. How's things going?
Good man, good. Sorry, I'm all sweaty. I just got back from BJJ. There was some big boys in there today, particularly big Russian beasts that just sat on me. So
Big,
I'm still overheating. Yeah,
big Russian roid heads.
yeah, yeah. This guy ridiculously strong. Yeah, but no, it was good fun. And yeah, good to catch up, man.
Yeah, well, geez, I've been in Medellin for the last few days, getting things underway with Pampa Metals. Pretty exciting time for us. We've just closed a placement out a couple of weeks ago, and I think we're trading double that placement price. So it's good to
Nice,
see
man.
some.
Yeah,
It's
I've
good.
seen it rocketing. Good shit. Yeah.
It's good to see some interest into the story. And we just announced today that we're changing the name from Pampa Metals to Andina Copper. So
Okay. Nice.
nicer name, I think. And
Yep.
then we're going to get on the TSX V hopefully next week with a new ticker and everything, and then hopefully the ASX at the end of the year. But yeah, getting all the logistics ready for drilling Cabrasco, which was I don't know if you've come across it, mate, or paid much attention, but it was a pretty significant discovery a few years ago here
Yeah.
in Colombia, porphyry copper discovery. And the project just kind of sat around for the last few years, waiting for someone to come in and save it, and that's exactly what Pampa or Joe has done. And yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting drilling that and trying to expand the mineralization there, because it looks like it's just a huge footprint of copper in this pretty wild part of the Colombian jungle, which is not going to be easy to operate, but it's as far as geology alpha goes, it's probably one of the better projects you're going to see.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm excited for you. Looks promising.
So apart from the good news with Pampa over the last couple of months or the last few weeks, especially, my uranium portfolio is looking pretty rough, especially with Boss.
Good boss.
More pain there. What's your take on the sector at the moment, mate?
Oh, well, it's just frustrating. Like, I think we're just going round and round in circles with the same discussion as talking about the long-term thesis and getting chopped up on the execution of the thesis. Like, I was looking back at my piece when I kind of had quite a heavy rotation out of uranium, and there was a section there where I was just saying, like, main reason for heading for the exit on some of the stuff, and dialing down the exposure was just like, none of these guys are executing, and the market's still treating them like the other guys that are providing guidance will execute perfectly. And there's a section there where I'm like the only two that have executed perfectly of this whole list of producers was Boss and Encore. And fast forward a few months, and both of them have got absolutely destroyed. So yeah, it's just tough. And it's definitely some lessons learned. Like in my recent piece I wrote on rules of thumb, um, I've been thinking about it a lot. There was a great comment on blanking on his name, Pure, maybe, and he was talking about how once you get a certain amount of information, past that, you're not actually doing yourself any good, like building more and more conviction in a sector. And I kind of feel about that, like that about uranium sometimes. I wish I'd done less work on it, just position sized it at a set amount. When it ran up a certain amount, be like, that's a great return. There's some better risk rewards, and kind of moved on, rather than being this absolute hug this thesis until we get exactly what I expect with the deficit closing. When it's not that the long-term thesis has got any holes in it, it's just the way you're expressing it with all these miners is so difficult. And there's other sectors where you can when you can express your view with just a cleaner expression, like straight commodities, like with the PGMs, if you just wanted to just buy straight platinum and rhodium, like that's, you're just taking all this annoyance out of it. I guess with uranium, you have got Sprott, but that's come with a whole lot of its own issues. And so, yeah, it's frustrating. With the Boss situation in particular, I think that's extra frustrating as well, because it's you also got the history there with knowing that Uranium One sold that project because they were having issues not only with the uranium being too costly, but also they were having issues with the ISR, and with the fact that they've now kind of saying that they don't really know where they stand with 2027 guidance, like kind of brings to mind like Peninsula, like where could this end up? Could it always be they're just around the corner from fixing the issue? And I wouldn't, like, you could give them the benefit of the doubt, but then why should you when Duncan Crabs also dumped all the stock along with the other two? And when they it always bugged me. They sort of did it on successful sort of production when they only delivered one barrel, and like up until now, what they were doing was really impressive, and they were actually delivering. And now it's just shown to be quite a smoke show. And so, with uranium, I don't feel the need to jump on Boss here.
Really?
I did it. Probably like to think it will work out, but I just don't need that brain damage. If anything, I've said I'll probably add more to like some of the simpler ones. It's like size up Bannerman a bit if I wanted more uranium exposure. I kind of like how Bannerman and even John Borstoff are just pulling the fingers at everyone. Like, well, they're saying like we're not moving forward if you're not gonna. Well, the price makes no sense. Because also we're in this interesting time in the entire markets when there's no real benefit being given to how hard mining is. Like the producers are getting absolutely beaten up, still pretending all the guys that are just sitting on deposits will ramp perfectly. And so, with hindsight, the easy one was just to sit on. It would have been to sit on a whole lot of like a next gen, Bannerman, and just ride them instead of having all these production headaches, and the fact that when you've got such certainty that the utilities will come into term, you just don't know in what time frame, then it's kind of a like when Bannerman kicks things off, it might be when uranium's already like in triple digits, and so they'll be given a lot more leeway for production issues. I don't know. It's all frustrating, and the amount of heartache uranium's caused, even though kind of done well out of it objectively, it's still just been so frustrating. Yeah,
I remember
definitely some lessons in it.
Didn't Brad McFadden, your mentor, didn't he get out of it quite early?
Yeah.
Once the big initial move, I think it might have even been when Sput initiated, and then he saw all the money flow in, and he just took it all off the table. And even I was following you guys closely, and I was quite surprised he did it at that stage. What are your thoughts?
So they've still got decent uranium exposure, but they just did it via Suction Cove, and they've got 5 or 10%. So they did keep uranium exposure, but I think personally he just started to roll it all into offshore oil. Yeah, he just saw far more value there, and obviously that was kind of that was a good rotation, which is a big lesson for me, is probably not get too tied to macro either. When there's just a big enough gap, it's kind of simple maths as well. Like if you have say you put something in at just say 1% for instance, and it 10 bags on you. If you're seeing something else that's bottom crawling, you're like it's no different if that 10 bagger goes to a 20 bagger, or if you move those gains across to the thing that's bottom crawling, and it just needs to double. Like they're actually the same return on that money at that point in time. Yeah. And it's kind of when you look at it that way, like kind of rotating that money across, it's just so much better risk reward, especially if you've got a few of those. Like kind of, it's something I think of constantly is like, I know it's hindsight bias, but should have at least been trimming some of the gains in the likes of Paladin into stuff that I just saw bottom crawling, like the PGMs was just absolutely dead hated. It's again, it's like, I think you shared it before. It's like when you're all sort of high-fiving or sharing screenshots or anything like that, like for every screenshot, you should probably be trimming 5% off it, at least, if not more. Yeah. So it's tough with uranium, because I think uranium, it's the fact that you got such a strong long-term thesis that's kept everyone in it. Like if no one had done nearly as much work on the long-term thesis, everyone would have been more actively trimming and heading for the exits. I know I probably would have been, and it's been a mistake of trying to milk this whole trade until utilities turn up in size.
Yeah, same here. Exactly the same thought process, or following you as well. But yeah, what should I do with that boss position now? I'm kind of like in two minds. Do I wait for it to recover, or hope for that it recovers, or is it just completely beaten down? It's a hard decision.
So the worst thing you can do is just put your head in the sand, kind of like because we've got a good case study of this with what the Peninsula crowd's done, and that's just been painful to watch. So I was lucky enough to talk to someone. It was like 2020 when I was looking at Peninsula, and he was like, "There's a reason that got sold dirt cheap. It's because they couldn't make it work. Like, why do you think and ended up in those hands instead of like UEC's hands? Because they knew that deposit was didn't really work, was super tough." And yet here we are, like years and years on, so much dilution, so much like we're just about to do it. I see, pretty sure they just cancelled, was it 6 out of their 7 offtake agreements, and they have to pay 6-7 million of compensation, and they have to do a raise to pay for it. So it's like you don't want to be relying. You don't want to be relying on something that might not work out when you've got conviction on the sort of the macro thesis. Like, there's nothing more devastating than getting taken out just as the actual thesis works. And so what I've said is, like, I'd prefer to own like a Bannerman, even a Paladin. Like yes, Paladin got its ass absolutely handed to it, but their production misses were because they weren't mining the open pit. They were working through what do you call it? All the get a name, like all the sort of the piles outside, and that they were mixed up, so it was a lower grade than they'd expected. And you also had the so they took over Fission, so you had the value of that project. What was that, 1.2 billion NPV, and they traded below that at one stage. So you kind of understood, like they've only just started doing the open pit again, and that's got a long history of working. They kind of know what the costs are, so that's an easier long-term bet to make than Boss for me, which is hopefully it all works out. But like, there's a chance where they just keep disappointing year after year, and I don't want the heartache of that. And if anything, if you get a lot of talk in uranium as well with as I say, with Bannerman, or even some of the other guys that are just sitting on deposits. Like, I've looked at ISO as well. That one's quite talky. Some of those I'd probably be.
Is that ISO Energy?
Yeah.
I know.
Super liquid. Yeah.
I know Pete Mullins. I catch up with him in Buenos Aires all the time. Chairman. He's heavily involved in that. Yeah, I don't know how much attention he pays to it actually, but it's interesting. ISO Energy. I just had a chat about it, but you'd think it's got some room to run.
Yeah. I like, if anything, like, all the frustrations you're having at looking at the producers adds to the long-term thesis, because no one's even close to meeting guidance. It's just one after the other shitting the bed, and like the whole time the supply demand is getting wider. So one of the more painful things is when you throw in the towel. Often that's when, like, the actual thesis bites, and it's just no one that looks back at a chart knows how painful it was at a particular point in time, and it's kind of there's a massive dose of hindsight bias. Like, I've often pointed to everyone's like, if only I bought NVIDIA, I'd be on whatever sort of however many bagger it is now, if you bought it in 2020. But if someone had bought it even, I think it was like 21 into 22, I think, they suffered like a 65% drawdown by the end of, I think it was towards the end of 2022. And they could have put the money, had conviction on the thing, and it drew down 65%. And often, if you look back at quite a few big runs, you often just had these gut wrenching drawdowns along the way. It kind of goes hand in hand performance, as I've observed a few times. But the main thing is making sure that you've actually got something that will capture the thesis longer term. And that's kind of what I worry about with, like, obviously using Peninsula again. Like, they're not going to partake in this uranium bull market. If you just look at the dilution on that thing, it's more than 10x dilution, and now they're going to raise again to pay off the pay out the compensation for the offtake agreements. So yeah, you just don't want to be on the side that you don't partake in the gains when it comes, because the companies can't deliver.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I have to make a decision around what I'm going to do with that boss position. Geez, it's going to be hard after seeing it up at $4.70 a few weeks ago when I participated in that latest Pampa Metals placement as well. Luckily, I sold a portion of boss at that price. Luckily for me, but yeah, now it's down at like $1.70 or something. Fucking hell. Anyway.
It's also another overall lesson in just miners. It's just, like diversification is so important with this. Like, you're not talking, I think, like, because I've talked about like the art of execution a lot in some of these books. And even like if you listen to like Ian Castle, like that, those guys are always talking, the art of execution talks a lot about the, what is it? What do they call it? You just build like really low positions and just let it run. And problem with that is like just dealing with really shitty companies. And so just miners will break your heart so often. And it's just understanding that. That's been one of my bigger lessons is don't even when the underlying commodity thesis is really strong, you should just understand that miners can just give you a heartache over and over again.
I know you can get issues with management and people managing projects, but geez, it comes down to geology at the end of the day, doesn't it? Especially what you see with NextGen and Arrow, and then you see like they're obviously sitting on a fantastic deposit geology wise, whatever it is in the world for as much uranium as they have in the ground and the grade of it. And yeah, it's kind of like I listen to a lot of what Tom Woolrich says, who's a fund manager at Deutsche Rostoff. Runs like a discovery fund, venture capital discovery fund, and he funds a lot of these juniors looking for big deposits. But he's just so brutal with geology. He's just like, yeah, that's a small deposit, not going to work. Like, these people will be packaging it as something that has all this potential. He's just flat out blunt. He's like, no, geology looks shit, not going to touch it. Geology looks shit. And it's like, and that's why I'm loving this opportunity at Carrasco, because it's solid geology, but that's not the issue there. It's obviously getting a drill rig and drilling some holes. But I think at the end of the day, geology obviously just plays just a really bloody big role.
Yeah, well, it's understanding mining as well. It's just a liability until you get cash flow. Ultimately, like, a lot of it is just trying to put a shine on it until it can actually provide the economics and without sort of all the cost blowouts. And that's the thing that, if anything, that really annoys me would have been one of the biggest performance boosts I would have had would have just been, I think Rick Rule said it. He said, if I see like a CEO or managing director selling a certain amount, I'll just sell the same amount, and that will reduce my heartache. If they see it as required to sell 70% of their holdings, I'll sell at least 70% of my holdings. And when I saw Duncan do it, if you'd done the absolute same, be having 70% less heartache. That's what I observed when I wrote the piece on it, but I was too stubborn to do it immediately, and that cost me a lot then. And and I literally had the same with Tidewater as well. Like when a whole lot of insiders kind of move for the exits there. Granted, I think Tidewater does really well, but it's fine saying it does really well after you've gone through a nasty big drawdown, where you could have allocated that capital somewhere else. Yeah. So
just copy what the CEO does. It's so true. Like, especially even in junior mining exploration level, like there's a ton of these companies going around exploring, looking for deposits and trying to add value to shitty deposits. And then you do like the littlest bit of research and you just see the CEO just has no skin in the game. And that's got to be just the biggest red flag. Still people invest in, I can't believe people still invest in those companies. There's a portion of retail that just, I swear, don't even look at that and just, yeah. But to me, it's the biggest thing in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I don't know. So, sometimes I say like, yeah, people that focus too much on insider sales can also be misleading. Like there's lots of reasons to sell. And but yeah, when it's that sort of a size, and at that sort of time, like delivering one barrel instead of like having the full ramp up, which now is obviously when they've announced that, yeah, we've seen a few issues and obviously have to change guidance further out. So yeah, no, it's just another lesson. Yeah, it's all this investing game gives you. There's lots of lessons, and most of them are painful.
Let's talk about my other favorite stock that you got me onto, and that's Namjong. So that's ran really hard up into, it's like 60 cents or something. I've made, I'm going to say 4 or 5x in almost a year since I invested in that, exactly 1 year. So obviously great one, but it's taken up a big portion of the portfolio still. You're still holding that.
Yeah, no, I love that for long term. They're doing really good things. They're just terrible at like announcing it. You have to go and dig through all their filings. No, they're doing really well, and I think they're going to keep surprising to the upside of earnings.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I almost regret selling what I did with that company. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Take note of that.
yes.
It did like a 20%, 24%, 25% day the other day off the back of a broker note for the price target at $1 or something. So that was, yeah.
I just don't think anyone pays any attention to it, honestly. Like it's kind of like I think I had that at the start of my focus pieces. If you put something in front of most people that's gone bankrupt twice, like they're just like, oh, don't tell me about it. Like I'm not even interested. Like, what is this shit business? But yeah, it's these that'll keep. I think that you're just going to have a step up function in the earnings over time, similar to like a MMA offshore. It'll just, people won't pay attention, and then suddenly bang, it'll go up another, beat earnings again, and then it'll repeat this for a few years because you've got they're adding more and more receipts to the fleet, and it's a pretty simple story. No, you don't really have to lean too much on the shipbuilding. They're more building their own, which is actually way more profitable.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep that one there. I won't be touching that. How's that stock you showed me the other day? Graphene.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on there? You brought it to my attention when it was like 50 cents. I just checked it. It's like $1.60. This is only like three days or 2 or 3 days. So that's just on a spastic run.
Yeah, well, that's a bit of a fuck up on my behalf because I spotted Nano Explore just because I found it interesting because I was running my scanner on bottom crawlers and I was like, that's a really tight trading range. And then I looked and its sales and its earnings are ramping, even though this thing's in a tight trading range. And that's what gets me interested. And so I started, because I didn't even understand what graphene was, if I'm honest. I thought it was like, I kind of mixed it up with BAM. I thought graphene was high-end graphite, where like BAM is like battery grade graphite. And I researched that before, and I understood that could be produced synthetically within China. And so everyone pushing like graphite deposits, I was like, well, I want nothing to do with that if China can just produce as much of it as it wants synthetically. But graphene is a totally different beast, and high-level graphene is like real high purity is actually like a really fascinating story. And so Kevin Bramborough, he was the one that put me on. He's like, no, you like Nano Explore is interesting, but the one you want to be looking at is hydrograph because that has a patented process in which the they produce like 99.8% pure graphene that can go into all sorts of products, pretty much everything you put it in your strengthen. And so it's got the amazing properties. And this, like, mind you, this whole conversation was like 2 days, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Started researching it, bought a little bit, talked to Kevin, it's like, oh, I'll have a look at hydrograph, bought a little bit. I was trying to finish my Asian post, and I was like, I'll do graph. Yeah, I did buy a bit. Yeah, I've got a little bit, but not enough to, yeah. And I had done no research. I was just like, that chart looks like it wants to run. And yeah, I was like, I'll research this and I'll write it up. Like, I don't want to start talking about it when I barely knew what graphene was. And it's gone absolutely bananas. It's like, it's, as you said, like when I first looked at it, it was like 20, 27 cents. And now I think last night it got to like $1.80. Yeah. So,
oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's super frustrating because I was like, fuck, I've had a really bad run lately with when I've kind of spotted stuff. It's almost started working like immediately when I've like tried to, like, I've had a annoying run with mine technology as well. Like I kind of spotted that and tried to like size that up, and just every time I put my limit order, it just runs away from me again. Like it doesn't. It's a super volatile stock, but it seems to. I don't know why it's yeah, I'll probably get annoyed and just buy it at one of these highs, and then it'll do the big pullback. That's the standard. But yeah, no, graphene. Kind of want to talk about it, but that hydrograph chart is just ridiculous, and I'm also like kind of worried that will do a big raise because it's been so ridiculous, and so
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like
it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, so that's just pure frustration, honestly. I think the story is actually fantastic, and some people sort of said, like, with how bullish Kevin on it, is it kind of like they're just using their basic template that it's like a kind of like a mining pump and dump. But I don't think it's that at all. I think when you look at the patents, and everyone should go and watch the YouTube clip that he does he's got one with the CEO, but he's got one with the scientist that invented the whole process. That's a really good interview. That guy's like a legitimate, like, mad scientist that's just inventing everything, and he's like 72, and his whole career's been trying to work this stuff out. And so, yeah, it's a super interesting story. I'm just gutted I didn't have time to get onto it earlier, because that would have added a bit of value for a few people.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like a crypto sort of return that. It's funny. It's listed on the CSE too, which is where Pampa's listed too, and we're moving over to the TSXV to get hopefully some more liquidity. Actually, a lot of things changed for us in the last few weeks with liquidity. I think it was because Interactive Brokers actually opened the CSE for traders. It wasn't available on Interactive Brokers for years, and as soon as it made it available, it just went nuts. Like we just saw like all our trades coming through. It was obviously some brokers, funds hiding their trades through IB. It wasn't just retail, but still, it was just like, fuck, what a difference that makes. And then we're hoping that once we get over to the TSXV, it's also going to improve. But yeah, that stock ran its head off on the CSE, which was interesting.
Yeah, I've often observed. I actually mentioned this to Brad. I was like, I think there's even alpha in where everyone I talk to and all like the contacts I have, we're all using the IV universe. I think there's probably a lot of alpha in just like hanging out and random shit. Like if you like I've always said, like maybe one day I just want to go around opening random brokerages and buying shit in Uzbekistan, and go and open up a sort of a sub-Saharan African. Yeah, like there's I've got it and got like a screenshot. I think I might even chat with Brad. And it was just like the one thing that was a big prick for me to get open was my that South African physical rhodium ETF. And even within the sector, I've got like the whole PGM sector. It was all down like 5% on the day, and the rhodium ETF was like up 8%. Like it just doesn't give a shit about what the sector's doing. There's no standard retail flows into it, so it just does its own thing. Yeah, well, there is a correlation over time, but you don't have the same level of just if there's a broad market dump, people aren't like getting liquidated on their whole it's not in that portfolio. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. What else are you working on, Ferg? So, yeah.
At the moment, I'm digging through the entire like Chinese oil and gas space. So I'm finding that really interesting. I just don't want to miss any of these kind of bottom crawlers there. So that's got some interesting new tools that help me like search through them all and find some of them. And that'll probably be my next piece I'll write about. Trying to work out how to, like, I just wrote this piece on like the coming Asian boom. And now it's one of those weird things, like when you start to observe it, like I see it everywhere now. And like I was kind of blind to it for a while, like seeing, like I kind of had the example of in the West, we've got so used to like you can buy everything on finance. Like in Australia, it's so second nature. Like like Afterpay and everything just gets pushed out and like pay whenever you pay next month, pay next year, 0% finance. Starting to see it everywhere here. Like it's
Not really
literally ludicrous. And since I wrote that piece, a few people sent me emails. I've got one that was someone's in the, I think it's the UAE. They're now offering like BYDs. You can get, I don't know which car it was, but 5 years interest free, and they'll throw in a new iPad. And like this sort of like here in Indonesia, the latest, like the Alto one, I put it in the piece. It's like 195 million, which is like just over 12 grand US, and they'll put you on finance for 3 years interest free.
Really?
And it's brand new. Like the build quality of these things is amazing, and they're just ramping up. Like they're bringing all the plug-in hybrids are arriving next year.
Yeah. That's BYD.
Yeah, BYD. Yeah.
Holy shit! So they're bringing in the plug-in hybrids into Indo. Jeez, is that Bali or is that?
Yeah, we've seen them all on the road around here. There's on my street. There's two parked now. I should take a picture of it. Actually, I like. Yeah,
you have to buy one soon, mate.
Well, the thing is, I bought like I got like just a family car, which is like a Honda HRV SUV. I paid like 20 grand US for it. And what I could get for 20 grand US now is, I was just looking at the latest Song Plus that can do crazy Ks, crazy luxury inside, absolutely brand new, all warranties. As I say, you can get these massive finance deals on them. You pay absolutely nothing for 3 years. Like it's like, I just think we're going to see that absolute boom in first-time buyers across the developing markets. Like when you combine crazy cheap goods, and not just like, when I say that, like I'm not talking like everyone thinks of like crazy cheap shit out of like Barbies and stuff out of China. No, this is like top quality electronics and EVs and all appliances, and they're going to finance the shit out of it. And I think when you consider there's like 3.5 billion people that have started their S curve, that really want to improve their standard of living. Like they're ready to, at the start of an S curve, it was like they just want to have a smartphone and a scooter, let alone like a car, and then they want to get aircon at night. And like that curve is where your energy consumption just goes crazy. Like the African numbers are amazing, like when you really drag the time frame out, but you still got to remember like 45 odd percent of Africans don't even have electricity, so they're not even thinking about getting their first AC, whereas 90% of Asians have electricity. They're just aiming to step up their level of comfort and get that first AC, get the first scooter, and then once they got the scooter, maybe they want a car for the family. Yeah, it's just that progression. And they're now at the income level they can do it. And I think people haven't clued on. Everyone's too focused on what's the latest Trump trade deal for 340 million people that are already kind of over consuming.
Yeah, interesting take. That was your last piece. I remember you wrote about those factors going forward. Yeah. Still think the US dollar is in trouble?
Yeah. Everyone's probably too
Yeah.
bearish right now. It's probably when everyone thinks it's going to do something, probably bounce for a while. But yeah, I think it's everything they're doing is pointing to it getting weaker over time. And that's an
Yeah.
important part of that piece as well, is it's just rocket fuel for Asia when you consider um, they massively benefit from a weaker US dollar. And they also massively benefit from the fact now that they're increasingly being able to trade in their own currencies or get a lot of what they need in yuan and ruble in their own currency, net settle in gold. Just before that, all of Asia post the Asian financial crisis had such a terrible time, like being I've seen over leveraging themselves on dollar debt and then not having the dollars to pay it and then blew themselves up. Now they've gone the other side where they've run big surpluses, so they always have the dollars so that they can buy the energy and the commodities they need. And now it's kind of like having like way too much in your bank account that you no longer need because you've got a I don't know, higher paying job, and you can just start spending that. And I think when you bring it all together, the fact that they'll get high quality goods from China, we've got cheap energy, they can even get the energy in their own currency. It's just all the recipe, all the ingredients you need for a lot higher growth. And it's a lot of people as well. So I think that's like a trend you really want to capture in the next decade.
What would it take for you to invest in a stock like Pampa Metals, or now Andina Copper? What would you look for before you took a position? Nothing to do with me, just I know a lot of guys have followed me into this trade that listen to us talk and follow my Substack. So yeah, just like to get your take on it, mate.
For me, I'd have to have a stronger view on copper to start with. At the moment, I still see so much opportunity and stuff that's been underinvested in. Like I like the niche stuff. Like I just chat with Paulo Macro because he really loves copper, and then I'm like, well, my philosophy has always been like all things equal, I want to hang out in stuff that no one sees coming. Like whereas copper will do really well, but it's kind of an obvious story as well. And like you see it with a lot of the mining majors, they're like, oh, we need to ditch our coal, we need to ditch our PGMs to chase copper. And so for me to get involved, I probably want some warrants, and I'd want to see more recognition for the whole electrification story. Like
So
probably
it would have
post
to be
renewables getting taken out as well. Like I want to see like the renewable side of most, and it's been coming right down. But I want to see like a lot of that net zero stuff just get absolutely destroyed. Like there's still too much of that going around. I'd want to see all those forecasts get taken out and shot, and then I'd probably consider. I think actually got one interesting company I'm probably going to talk about that. It is a complete renewable company. Well, it's not complete, but it's half. And the problem was the half was renewables was in the US, and it was mainly wind. And so it just came and just got absolutely destroyed. And a really interesting company now that the renewable revenues have just got, and the company obviously got hammered on the back of it. So I kind of feel a little that way, especially when there's so many setups for me as well. Yeah, is that would be what I want to see. Just more hate, I guess.
It's funny because our stock, or Pampa, just about no one buys it for the macro tailwind behind copper. It's kind of just like, it's just too early stage, I think, to tie it in with any sort of correlation to what physical copper does. Obviously, it affects definitely some sort of flows, but it's never a question that ever comes up when people ask to invest, and people I talk to.
It's just my PTSD as well. Like I just I'll see, like we're just talking about like mining before and how much every time I'm just talking from my experience.
Junior mining hit and miss. It's so funny. Like I think like the way I got involved with it so heavy was because it's already a discovery. You're not going out there drilling in moose pasture or drilling a conceptual target. You're literally drilling out, a discovery with a huge footprint. So it's a little bit of a different setup than the pure exploration play. Obviously, it has a lot of risk tied with it, with country risk and on that side of things. But yeah, it's like yesterday, for instance. What did copper do? 20% down, and then we shot up 8%. So like,
yeah, well, making the point. Yeah, no, my point of being iffy about copper is pretty redundant when you're talking that. Yeah, no, that's fair.
but it still goes to me. Like, I'd never invest in like a lithium project because I literally I
Yeah,
don't like lithium because of a lot of the stuff that you write about. And yeah, it's a bit different. Like, copper's a very diverse metal. So,
yeah.
but yeah, anyway, I still think it's a good opportunity, and hopefully it plays out for all us shareholders. But yeah,
Well, yeah.
hopefully get you in it one day, mate. You never know.
Yeah.
I'll keep plugging it to you in these chats.
Yeah, you'll get me one day. Probably where it's already a 10-bagger.
Probably see if I can offer you a warrant next time when we do a raise. So yeah, I'll tempt you with that.
Yeah, I'll warrant strip you.
Rick Rule style. Just
Yeah,
warrant demands, change the management,
yeah.
come to release demands.
Yeah, I always loved when I saw Rick Rule do that. Like Rick Rule, like, yeah, follow my. I think it was one of the first tweets, and was people like I just love how Rick Rule invests, and I'm like, Rick Rule was so many levels above standard retail. Like, and I took a screenshot from it was UEC, and it was like Rick Rule has renewed the finance with UEC. He's got like 1% of the share float issued to him. He required his warrants be time extended and the strike price be like reduced or something. I was like, when you're such a big dog, you can restate what you want your warrant terms to be. Then, yeah, that's a different level of game. Yeah,
Mate, it is so hard to raise money for junior mining. It is like what I hear of the sector. Meeting the guys I've met in Buenos Aires when they pass through, it's just so tough. Like, spinning these
yeah.
stories and trying to get cash. You just have to like incentivize. Like, you have to add warrants and it's a very stressful sector.
I don't know if you saw. I've got this graph that is just grassroots exploration across the entire mining complex, and it used to be in like the end of 1990s, start of 2000s, it was like 50% of the entire mining capex, I believe. I don't actually know what the metric is. I have to pull it up again, but it's now like sub 15%, and the rest is operational mines and actual mines and development. So like the grassroots has just got absolutely destroyed. And it's kind of interesting, like even what we started this with, I've kind of drawn the analogy before about there is a lot of everyone kind of expects quick wins, whether it's fracking, whether it's ISR, like it's what we've kind of seen in uranium. Like, I don't worry about projects. Everyone will just bring on another Kazatomprom in no time. And then we're talking about Boss, like just kind of having all these issues with ISR and fracking. I think there's going to be some big disappointments moving forward with that. Yeah. Not so much as collapsing, but its ability to grow, just mass at some point. Yeah. So there will be a focus on junior mining again. I just think a lot of
Well, yeah, before I started working in the last year, actually being involved with these companies, I actually had no idea as a retail investor and as a geologist before that, just how hard it is to raise capital and just how much pressure there is to do it as well. Even now with this job role, I get messages from investors that just have no idea how tough it is. And they're been involved with, I think, three raises now. And I get these questions like, why isn't the raise closed? Why isn't, you said it's going to close at this date. Why isn't it? And then it's just like, it's not easy. Like, you guys have to understand. And then people start panicking. And if they've already invested and they just want to take their money back out of that race. So yeah, it's
such a game of chess as well. Like, and you see, like, I've got stand a little bit better than I did at start, but then you see some times where it just goes into a death spiral. Like, I kind of unfortunately, like I headed for the exits with Global Atomic, because I just see that, like, it's just like, it's kind of sad. Like, it's such a good project and stuff, but what's happening there is it's just everyone's kind of like a down round with warrants, and then they're just warrant stripping it, which drives the stock down, and then they know that they'll need to come back because they'll need to get further finance to keep the mine advancing, so that there'll be more warrants, and then they'll strip them as well. And it's just this like nasty value destructive, and then you got to kind of forecast that forward and be like, what's going to be left of all this dilution? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough sector. Yeah.
It's rewarding when you get it right as well. Like for me, with all the shit I throw at like uranium producers, they're like, that's how I made like a big chunk of my money. So it's
same. 2017, 2016, when we were buying Boss Energy for like, like, what was it, like 30 mil market cap or something. It's just
yeah.
You've still made a lot of money. It's just been a long time since, but yeah. Anyway, mate, I better let you go. We've ticked over, I think, almost an hour. So, yeah, I appreciate it, mate.
No worries. Great chat. Yeah.
We'll talk again in a month. Cool.
Sounds good, man. All right. Catch you then.
Gotcha.